A huge Red Sox trade is incoming, and it's perfect. As the MLB Trade Deadline quickly approaches, name after name is being thrown out in connections to this Red Sox organization, and now we have a brand new name that could potentially be the best possible fit going forward for this Red Sox team. I'm here to break down how this young starting pitcher could not only be very valuable in the sense of statistical production, but also the package you wouldn't have to give up in order to get him, in comparison to the other very lucrative names in connections to the Red Sox as the deadline quickly approaches. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Red Sox Digest, but first remember to stay up to date on everything Boston Red Sox by scrolling down and clicking the subscribe button, as nearly 90% of you guys watching this video are not currently subscribed to the channel. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys, but now let's get to it and break down whether or not Kris Bubic could possibly be a Red Sox by the end of this week before the MLB trade deadline does expire. Now, there has been name after name in connections to this Red Sox team for good reason. The Red Sox are a very competitive team as of currently constructed, but they need more pitching, specifically in the starting pitching realm. Now, there has been connections between Mitch Keller, Sandy Alcantara, Edward Cabrera. The names go on and on. Joe Ryan to be even more expensive in the sense of what it would take to go out and get one of these guys. But now we have a new name, and this one is very intriguing, as Matthew Cora went on to tweet this on Twitter, highlighting the Section 10 podcast, as they went on to mention Kris Bubic as the second starter behind Joe Ryan that the Red Sox are interested in. Bubic is 27 with one more year of control after 2025. And up to this point in the year, he's been pretty damn good. Now, if we look at his baseball savant page, the only blemish he really has is the fastball velo. But despite that, he has it working, and he has all year long. He's playing for a Kansas City Royals team that is very, very underwhelming, at least up to this point in the year. And it doesn't look like they are going to be competitors, at least for this fall classic. And with that being said, and with having this talent in their hands, with their ability to either maintain him or then move him for more assets, they may be in an interesting spot, as now Bubic is only 27 years of age, and again, he does have some years of control after this season before becoming an unrestricted free agent, and also, he's being paid $3 million this season. He is being paid way under his value, at least from what we've seen this season, not only highlighting the Baseball Savant page, but just watching the games. He has it working. I know it's not the blow-by-you fastball that everyone is so accustomed to seeing in every dominant pitcher in today's game, but despite not having that mid-90s to upper 90s fastball, or even in the low hundreds, he simply gets it done. He has roughly a 5-pitch mix, and he uses all of them very, very effectively, including the breaking stuff, which is simply filthy. If you look at the chase rate, it's way in the tops of the league percentiles, and it's because of that nasty stuff he does maintain, correlating with the whiff and the K percentage, as well as the average exit velocity. All of these things, as well as a few others, way above league average for Kris here. He would be a great fit for the Red Sox. The 1-2 punch of Garrett Crochet as well as Kris Bubic would be amazing to watch. Another southpaw that the Red Sox can lean on in high leverage situations, not only to start games, but we all know Kris, when he dealt with that injury he was dealing with in the sense of the Tommy John he went through 2 seasons ago. When he did return, it was as a reliever before he found himself back in the starting rotation. And if you look during the season, he started 19 games, and up to this point, he has a sub-3 ERA, a 2.3 ERA up to this point. He is one of the better unsung heroes in the MLB right now. And it's because he plays in Kansas City, and because of really the lack of wins you see them really getting. Bobby Witt not being the MVP candidate that everyone really assumed going into this MLB season. I don't know if the Royals want to blow this all up in Kansas City just yet. They do have a younger core with Bobby Witt and others, but they can't assume they're going to be winning this season. And with that being said, would they look to move someone like this in order to really reset their franchise and organization going into next year? Now, to mention back to the actual contract situation and the conversation around Kris, it's very interesting because, like we mentioned, he is shoving, and he is simply filthy this season, has been very, very good. He's getting paid $3 million. If the Red Sox were able to go out and trade for Kris here and they were to acquire him at the deadline, not only would they have him for the remainder of this season, but they would have him for next season as well before he became an unrestricted free agent, and to pay the rest of this year at a $3 million tag for the level of production in which they would be getting would be phenomenal and a hell of a steal for the Red Sox in comparison to these other guys like Joe Ryan, like Edward Cabrera, like Mitch Keller that are going to demand so much more in value in a sense of a trade package going back to that respected organization. Joe Ryan is the biggest name in connections to the Red Sox up to this point because it seems like it has caught the most steam. Joe Ryan's the best player available. But in order to go get someone like Joe Ryan, the Red Sox are going to have to give up someone like Jarren Duran and a bunch of prospects in order to go out and acquire him. Kris Bubic may not, that doesn't seem to be the case. Yes, is he going to be a bit pricey? Without a doubt. He's a young starting pitcher who's having a career year. But I don't believe he's going to cost along the same lines as someone like Joe Ryan or someone we haven't mentioned in this video yet, but we've covered on this channel in the past in Mackenzie Gore. All three guys we've mentioned, as well as the others, are younger relatively, but also it's just the overall filth that they maintain. That would then translate to the Red Sox, who we all know is a better option than the teams they currently play on, regardless of the player we are focusing on. In this case, it is Kris. And yes, the Red Sox are a better team than the Kansas City Royals. He would have more run support. He would be more comfortable on the bump for the Red Sox because he knows he can attack these guys. He knows he doesn't have to pitch around guys because of the run support he has behind him, because this offense for the Red Sox is potent, and when it's on, they are one of the scariest offenses in all of baseball. I really do believe that, and based off of what we've seen up to this point in the year, I don't think it's any stretch of the truth. Now, in comparison to Joe Ryan directly. Now, I did filter this on StatHead, so it's just the last 2 seasons in particular. And the reason I did that is, yes, Joe Ryan has been in the league 1 year longer than Kris. But Kris has also went through substantial injuries, Tommy John, and he had to miss the majority, if not the entirety of that season. What was that, 2 years ago? And then when he did return, again, he was a reliever. So, yes, you see the 1 save here on the StatHead. He only has 1 save because he wasn't a consistent relief pitcher. He was doing it in the sense of really like a rehab start. No, he wasn't down in AAA. Yes, he did have AAA starts, but then once he came back, he wasn't initially just immediately thrown back into the starting rotation as one of their top guys to take the load of the innings. Rather, he was plugged in to high leverage or low leverage situations where he could really work his way back to the MLB speed, where we can all say comfortably he has found his footing once again. He has returned from injury, and he looks damn good in doing so. Now back to the comparison to Joe Ryan. The game started, yes, again, it is blemished, so don't jump the gun there. 19 in favor of Joe Ryan to 42. But if you look at things like the ERA plus, the base on balls percentage, or the base on balls in general, Kris has really, really held his own here. And yes, Ryan is just a year older. He has another year of experience under his belt. And you could argue he's been playing for a better organization during his tenure as a professional athlete. But still, Kris has gone out there, especially this season, and highlighted his overall value. And I think the Boston Red Sox should jump at this opportunity to go out there and acquire someone like Kris Bubic, because this starting rotation simply needs help. Yes, there's a lot of faith in Garrett Crochet, as there should be. He's one of the best, if not the best pitcher in the game of baseball. No, that is not crazy to say. Yes, Tarek Skubal and Paul Skeens are in a very small pool of players when it comes to their overall abilities. Garrett Crochet is in that pool. When he is on, he's arguably the best pitcher in baseball. There's no way around it. A big lefty with dominant stuff, a wipeout slider, as well as knock or blow by you fastball and velocity. He's up there. But then it falls off a little bit. Walker Buehler, we've seen be a model of inconsistency up to this point in the year. Yes, he's coming off a really good start in comparison to what we've seen for the entirety of this year. But if we don't see more of that, it's going to be the same old Walker Buehler that has really been a shell of himself through at least the halfway point of this MLB season. Richard Fitz just pitched for the Red Sox in their last game and got absolutely hammered. Yes, it was against a scorching hot Phillies team, but is that someone you really want to give the ball to on the bump in a high leverage game in October, or even a wild card game going into October? I would vote no. I would assume you guys watching this would also vote no as well. Let me know down below how you guys feel about this starting rotation and how Kris would really help it. Obviously, Lucas Giolito not having the greatest second half. Yes, he's only made 1 start. We're not jumping off the boat just yet from someone who had a good first half. And then obviously Brayan Bello, one of the youngest pieces in the starting rotation, who's really, really looked good over the last 2/3 of this MLB season after getting off to a slower start, returning from injury through spring. Let me know down below your overall thoughts and opinions on this possible trade for the Red Sox, and I will see you guys on the next episode of Red Sox Digest.